What's going on, man? It's good to see your face. Good to
It's good to
connect with
see.
you.
It's good to see your face and connect with you. I wanted this to be so organic that it's already started. Like we're
Let's
we're
go.
we're in now. We're doing it. We're going.
Okay, I'm ready.
See, it's
I'm
it's, it's
here.
recorded. We're
I'm
we're
here
there.
for it.
Yo, how are you?
B-Day twin.
Yeah,
Scorpio twin. What you doing for
Scorpio
your
twins.
birthday?
I'm on the 8th.
What are you doing for your birthday?
You know what? I'm turning 41. So I did 40. Pause. I did 40 hard. Pause. I took the whole month. Matter of fact, I didn't. I started more than a month. I started when I went to New York. So this time last year, I'm in New York and I'm with my mom and my sisters, and I was like, hey, I got to go back home, so I can't celebrate my birthday with y'all. So we start now, right? So I did. We
I
had
mean, that's what you do.
yeah. So we ordered pizza. My dad came over and he brought Jameson, and that was the start. Then the following weekend, um, me and Weemy went camping. He wanted to go camping with his Boy Scout squad. So we did that. So without him, I would have never had that experience because I'm not about that life. And this was in 40, yeah, it was 40 degrees at night. So like the first night, I'm looking at him because he ain't really felt like that, right? So I'm looking at him and I'm like, yo, you sure you want to do this? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, cool. So it gets darker and I'm like, you sure you want to do this? And he's like, yeah, Dad, I want to do this. And I'm like, wow, he really 11:30 rolls around. I'm like, yo, we sleeping out here.
Right. And it's 40 degrees.
And he was about that life. So Friday turned to Saturday, and Sunday we, had prayer with everyone and left. And that was the first 2 weeks into celebrating turning 40, and then all this extra. Oh, and then I went to DR after that. So the following weekend I went to DR to celebrate the actual
Yeah,
day.
you turned up. See, my 40, because we're the same age, literally, we're just weeks apart. My 40 didn't look anything like that. I mean, I was here, I had plans to be gone. I was going through a divorce. I, was moving my business. Like it was just my 40 was heavy, man. It was heavy. So 41, it's gonna be chill, but I'm out. I'm about to go and do something.
I could see 41 being your like I've earned my 40 stripe, so let's celebrate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you
I'm
should
almost
turn
feeling
up.
like we listen, if we have survived, I'm just gonna go ahead and call it, we survived this year. You can
Yeah.
say you survived 2020. Every birthday, every trip around the sun should be a turn up celebration. Because there were so many people who are not going to be able to celebrate their birthdays this year or next year or the year after that we lost this year. So I'm looking at my birthdays with a whole new different meaning. Like day before it was like a national holiday, it's a whole turn up session, but now it's got a whole new meaning to it, bro.
So I remember in March, I'm sitting here like, oh my God, we're stuck in the house, right? Whole country shut down. They're showing shots of, 610, no one's out there, right?
Dead.
I thought about you in a panic and I
I
prayed.
love you.
I love you too. I really do. I was telling Melinda how I felt about, what we were doing and how I wanted to go in there and recording it and why I was doing it. And I was like, yo, there's so much about my friend that's so dope, man. So we'll get into all that later. But I thought about you because let's do it this way. You started a really dope business called Nap Bar. And I remember you telling me about it, but not telling me about it. You was like, yo, Reem, I got something. Can't really tell you what's going on, but yo, when you see it, you're going to see it. And I was like, okay. And I saw it and it was like, oh. So let's talk a little bit about Nap Bar.
Dude, Nap Bar is my baby, and most people want to know, like, how did this even come about? So I was circa April 2018. My then wife Camille and I were carpooling into the city. We lived out in the burbs in Sugar Land, Richmond area. and we both had side hustles, still were working in corporate America. And we carpooled into the city because we had business to do, right? And it makes sense for both of us to drive in when we both can just, navigate together. And it was probably right around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And I'm looking at her and I'm like, it's my nap time. But you in the car, like, because ain't nothing for me to go pull into. I knew my spots. I knew what parking garages to go to. I knew what security guards wasn't gonna bother me, where I could go in, pull up, take my nap, and then go about my day. And so I'm looking at her and I'm like, yo, you're in the car. How is this gonna even work out? Because it's just not gonna be the same experience as I'm napping in my car. She was like, yo, we're in Houston. I know, the same experience napping in your car. That sounds so bad, crazy, right? So she's like, man, we're in Houston. Just Google, naps in Houston. I did. I was like, man, can you believe nothing turned up? Like, after a quick little search, I was like, there's no such a thing, and this is Houston. She was like, that's crazy. She was like, you should create it. And I was like, I was like, man, I'm the only adult that's napping like this. Ain't nobody gonna come and pay me to nap like this. It's like people napping in their car for free and they fine. Like, it's cool. And then that night, literally, Reem, I couldn't sleep. Like, I was tossing and turning. I kept thinking about the concept. Like, but damn, that would be kind of cool. Like, what if there was this said rest sanctuary where you can do all the things that you want on your lunch break and then go back? So I was like, all right. So I got up literally in the middle of the night, get on the computer, start to research like crazy. And I found all this scientific data and research and case studies that prove that if you nap during the day, that your productivity will go through the roof. Case in point, NASA did a study on sleeping military pilots and astronauts and found that a 26-minute nap will increase your productivity by up to 34% and alertness by 54%. I literally hit the floor when I read that. I was like, in 26 minutes, you're telling me my productivity is going to go up by 34%. Wow. So the next day I was like, all right, let me see what the people say. Let me see what the masses say. They're the ones that's going to be swiping their card. Keep in mind, I'm a C-level executive at a Fortune 500 company, making salary, like, have stability. I have health insurance. Like, I'm going on lavish vacations. Like, life, I'm not going to call it good. Life was just on auto flow because I was sleep deprived and didn't even.
She said, because I sleep.
So I do what most people do when they want to know what's going on. I went to Facebook and I did a poll and I said, all right, Facebook friends, how many of yous out here are taking naps in the middle of the day? You could be taking it in an unused conference room, in your office, or in your car. 99% of the cast was like, me. I was like, all right, cool. Well, if there was a sad place that you could rest, a safe haven that provided you a rest sanctuary, would you go there and take your nap instead of napping in your car, especially in the middle of summer in Houston? That might not be the best idea. It was like me. I was like, all right, how much would you pay for said nap? And they told me, I gave them 3 multiple choices. They told me, I said, okay, took the data, analyzed it. Then I was like, well, what else would you want there? Oh, meditation. I would want pillow mist. I would want candles. I would want eucalyptus. I would want all the things. I literally created my business plan based on surveys and polls because I knew that I didn't want to create something that Khaliah O. Guillory wanted. I needed to create something that the masses would want so they could come and swipe their cards. So that was the beginning of Nap Bar. That was April 2018. I worked on it for a year. I was grinding in the dark. That was probably one of those conversations. I was like, yo, Reem, I'm working on something, man. It's coming. You like literally grinding in the dark. Because one of the things that I learned in that phase is because I shared my concept too early with people. And one of my biggest models that I've learned that I hold on to every single day is I got to protect my creative space. Yes. Meaning that I can't share my vision with people who don't have the capacity to understand my greatness. Boom. So after that, I was just like, yo, I'm working on something. When I'm ready to share, I'll share it because I knew I had to protect my creative space because I knew in my heart, this was a part of my divine purpose. It's bigger than naps, man. This is solving a $411 billion U.S. economic loss due to sleep deprivation. Like, think about it. $411 billion is what companies charted that they lost in productivity due to sleep deprivation. I mean, cats were calling off work, not because they had a doctor's appointment, because they were staying in bed all day because they were exhausted. straight up exhausted. So I fast forward April 2019 to the month, a year later, did my beta test, Rice Village. Fast forward, we did that for 5 months, did my MVP, went through 3 rounds of my minimal viable product, had people part of the beta test to tell me what worked, what didn't work, went back, tweaked it, got it right. And then in 5 months, we had everything that we needed down pack. Our experience was down, our software was down, everything you need to operate from a functionalities perspective and a business mindset, we had that down. And then I said, all right, well, where are we gonna go next? Because I knew that I wanted to strategically be all over Houston because the mindset is global. We want to be everywhere sleepy humans are. But I had to make sure that I got it right in Houston first. So then the next phase of this was we moved to the Guillory Mall, which is crazy because in July, I had our manifestation coach through NatBar. She came in and with the team, we did manifestation boards because we were like, all right, we're going to manifest this thing, right? And
I remember seeing that.
The cool thing about my culture, yeah, man, because the cool thing about the NatBar culture is that we want you to achieve your dreams and we want to be able to help you do that. So this NatBar team building party we had wasn't about NatBar, it was about the individuals. Like, what do you want? Like, put this on your board so we can hold space and share space and help you get there. And one of the things I put on my board was a logo for Simon Mall. And that was in July. We moved into Simon Mall in November. We had our grand opening in November, man. November 2019. Was there from November through March 1st, 2020. And then the world stopped. So I it's been quite a ride. And I'm grateful for you, man. I'm oozing with gratitude for you even thinking about me. People don't realize, like, you don't have to pick up the phone and call me. Like, you can, right? Like, yeah, it's nice to call and check on people, but it's even more, it's the same for me, the same effectiveness when I have people who are praying for me. I don't even know, but I know I'm feeling the connection. Like, I know God is covering me, using somebody else as a vessel and covering me through their prayer. Like, it's crazy, man. So thank you for that, because
absolutely.
It's been a trying time, considering that I was just having this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day, and I was like, I know I had to walk away from corporate America because it just wasn't for me. I knew in order for me to fulfill my divine purpose, there was no way for me to show up and work for someone else and generate millions and millions and millions, if not billions at this point, dollars for a said corporation. And I have all these gifts and talents and transferable skills, and there's no way I'll be able to fulfill my divine purpose. And, it's crazy because one day I woke up right before NatBar, probably a year or so before NatBar. I woke up and I had an aha moment, and it was that my ladder was leaning against the wrong building, right? Like, every time I climbed the rung on, and this, it was all about, how can I get to the next rung on the ladder? Okay, when I get to the next rung on the ladder, my income is going to double. Right. Okay, got it. But like, it's still something empty. I'm still not satisfied. I was literally at the intersection where my satisfaction did not meet my contribution. And I just wasn't in a good place. And then that's when I was like, oh, it's because in order for you to fulfill your divine purpose, your ladder has to be leaning against a building with your name on it.
Oh, yeah.
That part. So stayed there for 2 more years because I had to get myself together. I didn't just jump the next day, with some entrepreneurs do, without a plan. Like, nah, man, I sat there and helped them. They helped me finance my dream. I made some sacrifices, made some changes so that I could be a small business owner and survive through the ebbs and flow of business.
Right. And wow. I'm floored because, yes, you were grinding in the dark. I had no idea. Not only were you grinding in the dark, you were grinding in the dark and the shadows and the shade. Anywhere where it wasn't quite clear, you would slide over there. Like, I had no idea about the beta tests and everything like that. And I think that's amazing. The whole concept is so dope. Let me give you a really quick story. Melinda's working in the Telemundo building off of 610 West, right? And we had a lot of good moments during the time that she worked in this building. We would have breakfast there before I had to go to work. So that was really dope. I would show up for lunch and go, scoop her up, and we'll leave. So this is during a time where that was short-lived when I had to pick her up because we would eventually get 2 vehicles. So this quick story is I would call her during lunch and be like, yo, what's up? How you doing? I'm good. Cool. Yo, what you doing for lunch? You know what I do for lunch? You gonna be in the car? Mm.
That part.
And this wasn't just about Houston summer. You know, we've been together for 11 years, right? And,
Yeah,
you know, this is summer, spring, fall, winter, summer, spring. Well,
all the seasons.
And that she's in the truck, right? Or she's in the car. She doesn't mind, you know, leaving the heat on during the winter. And the funny thing is, if you walk up any garage, you know, any parking garage between the hours of about 11:30 to 2, you're gonna find somebody. If anyone out there like me has ever forgotten where they parked and just had to, you've seen 1 or 2 people in the parking garage around that time. Knocked out. And I remember, you know, not too long ago, I'm sure this was like about a month ago, I had pulled up to a red light, had enough time to just shoot you a text and be like, yo, what's up? I miss you. I hope everything is good. You were on my mind. Just wanted to say what's up. And I like to do that so people know that, you know, like you said, you can pick up the phone and call. But I may not have that time, right? Because as an entrepreneur, I scrambled. Like I didn't know what to do, right? I didn't
Nobody
know.
did. Still don't.
Huh?
Still don't.
Well, like you said, you know, I feel comfortable that if I made it to the 4th quarter, I made it to the end of the year, right? I feel comfortable saying that in this game, right? You got 4 quarters in this game. So if I made it to the 4th quarter and I got ejected from the game, the story is, well, Ray made it to the end of the game and got ejected. So we made it.
Right.
I remember in March sitting here in this house and being like, what do you do? Because my transition was, I went from being in phone sales or doing everything over the phone to then going to work at, you know, corporate America, where I would then meet you and found this crazy inspiration. Like, wow, you know, I'm a rookie at this point. You're already on the other side of the fence of where I wanted to be. And I just remember being like, wow, she's so cool. And then, you know, because of a mutual friend, we bumped in. No, not even that. I remember seeing you at the hospital one time. We were walking through and I was like, hey, I know you.
He did. Dang, you brought me back.
And I was like,
yeah.
I was in training and we connected and it was like, yo. And then we would connect one more time through a mutual friend where I was like, I'm not letting you go. You're going to be my friend. Right?
And I was like, facts, ditto. You ain't got no problem with me. We're going to do this thing.
So each, you know, with these meetings and you know, each time I feel like we've leveled up. I wanted to make sure that I send back that energy and I send back that love and I send back that appreciation. Because, you know, again, when COVID hit, I didn't know whether I should call my clients because maybe they would be like, you know, we're bugging out too, or, you know, how many clients we would lose just because of the conditions of the world, right? Like, for instance, we had a wedding singing client, right? Or you know, a performance client, let's call them that, because they didn't just do weddings. You know, they had a great event at Sambuca one night that we went to. I felt like a star. I was walking in like, person who do not photography. Yeah, she does photography and video out, whatever, video and photo, right? So she's there and Melinda's there. She's looking like a boss, and I'm like, yeah, you know. It was a great experience. So shout out to them, and they rocked it. It was a great experience. But now it's like they don't need us anymore because we can't go outside. And I can't, you know, I can't front. I thought about netball, and I was like, wait, so what ways were you able to pivot to keep this thing going?
Yeah, man. You know, the first thing I did, like you, I'm a true extrovert, man. Like I like being out in the world. I like recharging my energy, connecting with people like you, bumping into folks like you in the hospital that I ain't seen in years, and recharging my energy just like that. And so
Yeah.
the first time, I think most people, we thought, okay, this stay at home order, we'll be at home for 2 weeks. All right, cool, whatever. So I still was like, man, 2 weeks is a long time. Like, what's gonna happen? What does this mean for me? And I literally, a girl fell into a bit of a depression, man. I was like, I don't know what this means for my business. I don't know what this means for me from a mental standpoint. And I just don't know. I couldn't go to the gym. Like it was crazy. And so I decided that I made a conscious effort to take a 30-day social media hiatus. So I was like, I'm unplugging for 30 days. I'm going to really dedicate this time to be with God, to be still, to listen to source, to really take time to get internally inside of like KG, like what are you going to do now? And not stress myself trying to figure out what it's going to look like. Because I'm literally coming off the heels of a pop-up contract ending in the Guillory Mall, one of the top 10 largest malls in the entire country.
Right.
We're 9 months old at this point. And then we were scheduled to provide naps in the VIP Artist Lounge at South by Southwest weeks later in March. That got canceled. Most people don't even know that. I never really announced it because right when we were about to announce it, the world stopped. So it was like, oh man. You know how massive that would have been? But it's still gonna be massive.
If I'm not mistaken, here in Houston, what ended first? Well, not here in Houston, let's just say here in Texas. What ended first? Was it the rodeo or was it the South by conference? No, it was South by, because rodeo was still going strong. I was like, yo,
people still were going to the rodeo.
It's over. If they stopped the rodeo, it's over. And they stopped the rodeo.
Done. They was like, this is it. I was like, oh, some major stuff is happening. They're not telling us how massive this is if they didn't stop the whole rodeo. Because I was like, okay, because at first I was a little nervous. I was like, well, you know, as bad as I want to do South by Southwest, I don't want to put myself or my team in harm's way. If everything they're saying about this virus is true, I don't want, you know, I don't want to create that I don't want to be an incubator for the disease.
Right.
So they finally made the decision last minute to cancel. So then that's when I was like, all right, I've got to get my head together. Did a 30-day social media hiatus and got quiet. And out of that, I birthed a Better Sleep Box, which we took, you know, I had a meeting with my business strategist at the time and talked about like, what was this looking like? What will it look like? How do we pivot to e-commerce? We're closed. Don't know how long we're going to be closed. And we took the nap bar experience, packaged it in a very sexy box. We're making sleep sexy again. And we
that's dope.
Yeah, man. So what's crazy though, Reen, is that in my business plan, I wrote like I want to get into products. Like one of my additional revenue streams would be getting into products, not just services, but products that align up with the Nap Bar brand. So like candles, pillow mist, eye mask, things that make sense, right? Well, now I have my own Nap Bar soy-based candles called Pillow Talk. We have our own vegan pillow mist. We have eye mask, downloadable brainwaves from the homie Dr. Kwanzaa Pinckney, who's also on our board. She's the inventor of these brainwaves. You know Kwanzaa from the podcast, probably. She was on Docs.
Okay.
Dreads.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So I hooked up with her. She created these brainwaves. You know, she's a DJ on the side. So it was just everything just kind of aligned in a beautiful way. And so, man, we just sold out of these boxes 3 different times. We got picked up to be featured in a couple of holiday guides for the holidays.
Nice.
I mean, it's just been crazy. You know, that was one of the things. And then at our brick and mortar inside the mall, every month we would have these unplug and flow installments where it was our give back to the community. It was free. It was complimentary. You come, we capture your phone. You give us your phone so you can literally unplug for 60 minutes. You know, we did yoga, we did sound healing, sound bath. We had mental health therapists there just to talk through things. I mean, it really truly was a health and wellness holistic approach to self-care. It was self-care redefined. People were self-caring like never before. And so we figured, well, how do we translate that to now? And every Wednesday I have a Wellness Wednesday installment where I invite health and wellness practitioners who come on and they share gifts and tools. Tomorrow we'll have a mental health group, Texas Recovering Together. They're going to come on and talk about how do we cope with COVID? How do we get through COVID? What are some tools and resources we can use to continue to keep our mental health going? I mean, it's just been cool, man. So,
And that's what
and
you're
that's just
doing
like
on
a couple of
Facebook,
things.
right? Every Wednesday on Facebook?
Every Wednesday on Facebook, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are there. We are there, man. We've been doing this since April. So think about it. 30-day hiatus in March, right? Literally right out of that, Wellness Wednesday comes up. Better Sleep Box is in the MVP is in curation, is in production. And then April 15th is my first show for Wellness Wednesday. So everything flowed because people were like, again, you got to protect your creative space. People were like, well, how are you as a business owner going to be off of social media for 30 days? Is that going to interrupt your business? I was like, my business was interrupted when I was told I'm not essential and I had to shut down. Like, what am I going to post about? Like, what am I going to post about, huh? So I was like, I'm so happy I took those 30 days because I took those 30 days to be still, but they set me up to run as fast as possible that I possibly could, man. Like, I'm in the final stages. This week, at the end of this week, I'll be a certified sleep expert. I've been going through the certification program. Yeah, cool. I mean, listen, I'm not. I've been sitting here twiddling my thumbs, but I also been sitting here working too. So
I don't see much twiddling in this at all, outside of the 30-day stretch, of course. But yo, this is so dope. Are you gonna have like sexy silk pajamas and stuff like that? I'm interested.
Pause, please. You better affirm my decisions. When I say you better affirm my decisions. You better listen. We said we make it sleep sexy. You gotta have satin black with white piping.
Yes. Because when you said sexy, I immediately went to sexy. And then, so whole COVID thing, right? Doing things really different. Me and Melinda decided that we are going to just not home improve, right? But let's say redesign. So we're going out and we're putting stripes on the walls of different color paints and stuff. And I had sent you that.
I saw yesterday.
Yeah. So the thing that was cool, like this was like a mission between us. And who would have known, our kids would show up and kind of pitch in here and there. So that was cool. So we're redesigning the house, right? We're painting and we're ordering things from Amazon and we're drilling. We got a new toolkit that we're excited about. We're never going to use most of that stuff in there, but we're excited to feel like real adults now. And, it's getting us to, I'm gonna go out on this one. It's getting us to kind of, I don't want to say rekindle the flame, right? Because our flame is a pretty strong, hot ass flame. But at the same time, it's like, we're spending so much more time here. Let's make things a little bit more sexy, right? Let's be creative and let's explore, and let's paint, And I'm not going to lie to anyone. I haven't said this out loud. I was doing it and I thought she complained one time when I could have paid someone else to do this, But at the same time, like now that, most of it is complete and I'm looking at it and I look at her and I'm like, wow, we did something that was really dope. And it gave us a break from what's going on outside, from the election.
Just the monotony of the day.
Yeah, and I have some built up anxieties about this. It's this situation not only has changed my business, but it's changed my relationships. Like you, I would love to go out networking. There were so many times I would go and meet new people and shout out to Tristan Sutton. I used to love going to his networking events and meeting people. Then, when you meet someone, you're like, hey, you could know any other events? And you're like, yeah. Then, you become like the event buddies and stuff like that. So I miss that stuff. I miss some of my personal friends too. I'm looking at a lot of my friends on Facebook and I'm like, We'll see you in 2 weeks. You know, everyone gets this. Everyone gets a 2-week time out with me, right? Shout out to my man Jerome. He had the nerve to say, "Well, I have my mask on." Well, the rest of you was exposed, so you don't really know how this whole thing.
You ain't playing those games. You ain't playing those games. You ain't out and about.
I'm just not. But what I do appreciate though is the world found a way to continue doing business. You know, I would drive and see, you know, construction still happening. I was out last night coming home, and I take the same route when I'm in this area, and there was nothing there. Nothing. There was a stop sign, and wow. The road stopped here. You made a left or a right, and that was it. I drive the same route last night. There's more road ahead of me. There's land spread, you know, laid out, and there's some houses over here. And I swear, all this happened in like 30 days. It had to have been.
It's crazy.
It reminds me that you can sit and twiddle your thumbs as much as you want, but the go-getters, the hustlers, the people who are passionate about their business, the ones that really want to affect change and they're really about this and they know that they're going to do something that's going to better someone else. I believe those are the ones that's been making it. Like for us, we started an events page on our website. So if we hear about any events or we know of any events, we'll put them on that event calendar, and people can click through to the website of other people. So if you want to promote anything, shoot it to me. We'll be more than glad to put it up there. And that goes for everybody because I don't have an event, right? So these are all the events I find, whether they're online, or however they may be. We started 3 Best Ways podcast in order to bring on entrepreneurs to help spread, you know, about their business and what they're doing. So we post that on LinkedIn, we share it on YouTube. I share it on my personal pages as well because I'm real cool. I know cool people across the board. And the one thing I admire about you is that you're comfortable in your own skin. And I remember looking at your posts on LinkedIn and you would be like, you know, your dopeness and spread your dopeness. And I would be like, I would be uncomfortable to use the word dope. And I'm like, wait, why am I uncomfortable to do anything? You know, why am I uncomfortable being me? Like, I know how to announce words and use R and, you know, use proper words and proper English. But at the same time, like, can I not be me? Can I not be Reem? You know, do I have to? You know what my question is? I'm going to write a piece called, What Does a CEO Look Like? Because from the small business owners that we help with through True to the small business owners that I know, we are all so different. We are all so flavorful. The one thing that I do see in common, that common link between us all, is we are doing this for the betterment of other people. I mean, yeah, you're going to pay me too, right? Because, you know, this is a business. We all got to make it. But at the end of the day, you know, our clients are really happy with what we're producing. More importantly, they're really happy that we can help get their name and their brand out there. So we find different ways of giving back to our community now that is more, let's say, online. And at the same time, like I have to keep, you know, open mind to that small business owner who does own that bar, right? And that does own that restaurant, or that does own that that massage parlor, you know, or that massage business where things are very iffy. You know, how do we go about doing this? So I always want to make sure that I can give, you know, this same energy back, the positive energy, of course, and to also let my friends know that I'm there for you when things are not positive. So, KG, if you ever need to, you know, holler at me. I'm here. I'll make that time.
Yes, I know. I know that for a fact.
And yeah, so, you know, I think so highly of you because you do it, and then you find a way through it and you keep God in it. So I really appreciate you, and I appreciate everything that you do, and I will continue to share your content. If I'm not busy on Wednesday, I would definitely make sure that I'm paying attention, because this is where I find my inspiration as an entrepreneur to keep going. I find it through entrepreneurs that I admire, right? So I make sure that I tune in, because you drop so many jewels. Like even in this time frame that we've been talking, about unplugging from social media, really unplugging. To be honest with you, the last time I really unplugged from social media like that was during Lent, and this was 2014, maybe. Right, and I remember I was in Vegas when you could go back to being a knucklehead. So I remember taking the picture like, yeah, baby. Right, but now that I'm more mature and I understand, I understand that yearn. I don't know. We can all do it, right? I have 2 different podcasts. I have a business. I don't know if I could just unplug for 30 days.
Yeah, and it might look different for you. It might be that you unplug on the weekends, or you unplug for one day out the week.
No. I want the 30. If you did 30, I'm doing 30. I just don't know when, and I'm gonna let you know when it starts. I'm gonna be out here looking like Pookie in New Jack City.
Not Pookie.
I'm gonna be over my little shoulder like, yo, who said that? Who said that?
Reeb, I love you, man. Oh, I love you. And I hope you know, man, you need everything is reciprocated, man. This reciprocity. You need me, I'm here for you too. Okay. That goes for the family, man. Tell Melinda I said, hey, boo. And the kids, like whatever you need, man. One thing is for sure that 2020 has taught me that we all we got, and we're better together. So, it's no sense in suffering in silence. And if I've learned one thing, it's just, we got to speak our truth. We got to speak our truth if without fail. Because I mean, I don't know. I just have this whole thing about things have happened that we couldn't even imagine this year, right? Like we couldn't have dreamt this up ourselves. And it's like I always tell people that I love them, because I would hate to not have the opportunity to tell them tomorrow, because we know this year taught us that some people aren't waking up tomorrow. And I mean, not to sound, morbid, but it's the truth. It's our harsh reality. So, man, if anything, man, tell people, love on them, call them, like send them prayers. You can pray for people and love on them from afar if you need to protect your space. But you still could love on them, right?
I got a cousin right now. As soon as you said that, I thought about my cousin. I'm like, I love her so much, but she'll never know, because I can't open that door with her because she talk a lot. She talk a lot. It'll go from
you still can send her love.
An hour later, I'm like, hey, I ain't have time for all that. So shout out to you.
Yeah, I get it. But you still can send her love through prayer. That's powerful. There's so many different things we could do. And I've always adopted to the mindset that, never go to bed mad. Like I was raised that way, like talk through some stuff. And I think even the entrepreneurs, because I know this pod is definitely for entrepreneurs, like, man, if anything, there's people who are here are striving and thriving. I'm following folks who companies that made it out of the Great Recession, that were born in the Great Recession. Think about those companies and look at how they survived and pivoted what we're going through today. So for me, some of my greatest teachers are the living and the dead. And I adopted a mantra and a motto is that why duplicate mediocrity when we can borrow genius? Like there's genius all around us that we can borrow if we just sit at people's feet and ask the right questions. Like, how did you do this? You're blazing the trail. I want to pick up the torch. Can you teach me? Can you give me some insight? And it could be even people that you don't even know. Like Oprah, Ellen, Tony Robbins, we've got all LeBron James is teaching me how to be a businesswoman. Like I don't have to pick up the phone and call these folks. I could just watch their moves.
Agreed.
Yeah, man. So That's it,
Yo,
bro.
I would like to circle back with you again soon. You always have a welcome mat wherever I go,
Same
whatever
here.
I do. Thank you. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. And thank you for allowing me to take this and share it with the world, because you are super dope. And I like to share super dope people with other super dope people. So
That's it right there, man. Thank you for your work. Thank you for operating in your divine purpose too, man. We're all a part of the wheel, dude.
yeah.
We're not the spoke. Everybody's the wheel.
I like the spoke part though. I was thinking when you said the wheel, I was thinking about the rims. You know what I mean? You know, I like sexy rims. I gotta get some rims on my car, but that's later. I ain't driving it nowhere. See. But I'll circle back
That
with you.
part.
I love you.
I love you. Mwah. You take care, man. Give my love to the fam.
Will do.
Later, bro.